The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt released earlier this year, an absolutely tremendous game, an incredible third and final installment in the Witcher game series. Following the game's release, CD Projekt Red released several free DLCs, including new weapons, armor, quests, and New Game Plus. Today, we're reviewing the first expansion for Witcher 3, Hearts of Stone, which adds over 10 hours of content, new weapons, gear, Gwent cards, and a new gameplay mechanic, Rune Words, which we'll discuss in more detail later on. The expansion is geared towards high-level players, recommending that you be level 30 or above before setting off on this new adventure. You'll be given a couple of options to play the expansion. You can use one of your saves, or begin a standalone character at the suggested level, given a set of gear and quite a bit of gold, so you can buy any other supplies you might want. Choosing the standalone option assumes that you've finished the main story along with all side quests, leaving you to focus on the expansion content only. In this respect, you have the option of treating the Hearts of Stone expansion as though it was a short story, separate from The Witcher 3 as a whole. For my first playthrough of Hearts of Stone, I chose to play with my own save and use my own gear, rather than use the standalone character option. To begin the expansion, you take on a contract to kill a monster, as many adventures begin for Geralt of Rivia. Without going into a whole lot of story spoilers, what starts off as a simple monster contract leads you on a long and unexpected adventure. Like the rest of Witcher 3, Hearts of Stone is incredibly well written and voice acted, introducing a slew of new characters and a couple of returning characters as well, one from earlier on in the game and another who appeared both in the Witcher books and was a major character in the first game. Shani's appearance in the Hearts of Stone expansion was a great choice. It makes the story much more personal for Geralt and allows for long-standing fans of the series to reconnect with a character who hasn't been seen since the first game. The expansion's story revolves around dark and morally ambiguous themes, just like the rest of the game, but still has lighthearted and fun-filled moments as well. At some points you'll find yourself fighting cursed beasts, and the next thing you know, you'll be listening to one of the main characters teaching townsfolk how to make gingerbread.
You omit the most important ingredient in gingerbread. Time.
The side quests across the expansion feel as though they were part of the vanilla game, fitting in seamlessly, but just like the main quest in the expansion gives players some more high-level content. The expansion takes place across Velen, introducing several new locations across No Man's Land. The boss battles prove to be very difficult and somewhat fresh compared to monsters and other enemies we've seen throughout the course of the game, adding great endgame level content for those who haven't had much to do since they beat the game. If you're not careful though, you'll likely find yourself dying during some of these boss battles, forcing yourself to rethink strategies you might have used earlier on in the game. It's definitely recommended that you make use of alchemy in the game, including potions, oils, and bombs if you don't normally do so. For those of you playing on Death March, I can definitely see this expansion being quite the challenge. Across my playthrough, I noticed a couple glitches, including some models and textures not loading properly. That being said, this might not be an issue with the expansion itself, but could be a glitch introduced by the recent 1.10 patch to the game. Similarly, I noticed framerate drops every now and then, more so than I normally did when playing the base game up until now. Once again, this might be a matter of the patch rather than the expansion pack itself. I'm playing on the Xbox One for that matter, and had very few framerate issues before. The Rune Words and Glyph Words aspect of the expansion is probably one of the more interesting parts of Hearts of Stone, at least from a gameplay perspective. You'll have to undertake a short quest to unlock Rune Words, but it's well worth it. Once completed, the enchanter will have the ability to combine runes or glyphs and imbue them on weapons and armor that have 3 sockets, along with the ability to buy sockets for any gear you have that has less than 3. Rune Words and Glyph Words are enchantments made up of 3 different types of glyphs or runes and have useful effects. For example, the Preservation Rune Word is made up of the Savrog, Divana, and Morana runestones, and when placed on a piece of gear, makes it so that the bonuses gained from an armorer's table and grindstone never expire. That's just one of several enchantments available through this new system. For access to more powerful versions of these enchantments, you will have to pay a significant amount for the vendor to acquire the necessary equipment in order to make these powerful enchantments. The expansion is available on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Hearts of Stone can be bought alone, or as part of the expansion pass, which also includes the second expansion, Blood and Wine, set to come out in the first few months of 2016. All in all, Hearts of Stone is another great addition to the Witcher series, adding some much needed endgame content to what is already a massive game. The new quests, weapons and armor, new bosses and enemies, along with the added rune word mechanics definitely make the DLC worth its $10 price tag. I've paid for DLCs in the past that were more expensive and had significantly less content. One thing that I thought was really great about Hearts of Stone's release is that players have the option to buy a physical edition as opposed to the digital version, in which you can get a set of real Gwent cards. I got the digital edition, but kinda wish I had known about the physical edition earlier on. If you're a fan of the Witcher games, or just looking for another adventure in Witcher 3, Hearts of Stone is a must-buy.